It's like a dog with a bone. Couldn't give it up. So this is part 2. Let's power this thing on. This is the Heathkit AA-11 Daystrom Preamplifier. And as you recall, at the ending of part 1, I took the infrared camera and looked around, and I found a single resistor right here that was running much, much warmer than I thought it should be. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the schematic. The resistor that was running warm is this guy right there, and it's labeled as R115, possibly 68K, and it tells me I should have basically B plus on the A side of this, which is about 250 volts. So I should have 250 on the A side, and then I should get 100 volts, as you can see right there, on the plate of the tube. So let's go ahead and check those voltages. We'll just set this guy up here. Hopefully you can see it. It's in the 600 volt range, and it'll measure the voltage across that resistor. So it says I should have 250. I've got 290, so that's close enough. And then on this side, I do have 109 volts, which is very close to the 100 that it states I should have. And so I've done a little looking around. So let's take a look at this guy right here, which is maybe R90. I can't quite tell. Comes from the same point A, so I should have 290 there, and I should have 109 on pin 6 of the tube V8. And so I've already done the looking over, and I found the resistor. It is right here, so I should have 290 right there, and I do. I should have 109 volts, and I have 185 on that side. So why is that resistor running much warmer than this one is right there? And I can tell you because this one is only dropping from 290 down to basically 190, so it's dropping 100 volts. This guy over here is dropping 290 down to 109, so almost 200 volts across that resistor. 100 volts across that one, which is why it's much cooler, 200 across that one. So this is the circuit that is operating normally. This is the circuit that is having the problem, because these two resistors should be virtually the same temperature given conditions. And so the first thing I want to do is, you know what, let's play Swaptronics. Let's take this tube and move it over to this socket, take that tube, move it back to this socket. If the voltage is changed, then I know I've got a weak tube. And I suspect it's going to be this one, because I've only got 185 on that side of that resistor, and I do have 110 on that side. So let's power this thing off, and let's just go ahead and measure the resistance of the resistors. See if they resist much. So we'll let that thing discharge for just a moment, and we'll get the ohm meter in the ohmage mode. As Derek says, the horseshoe mode. It might take a moment. There's probably still voltage across it. Yes, there is. It's coming down. So I want to see about 68K when it completely discharges. And we're down to 80K. Should have put a jumper across it. No, settling down at about 74K. So what does this one read? This one reads 79.4K. And we're down to 73. So that's pretty close. Probably close enough for a tube-based amp. Yeah, I mean, that one's about 10K high. Should be 68 and it's 79, so it's 11. And this one is 73. So it's about 5K high. Not the end of the world. So let's go ahead and play Swaptronics real quick and see, is it a tube problem or is it a leaky coupling cap or something like that? So there's a V9, there is V8. I'll just take the covers off and we'll leave them off. So I'm just going to move this tube into that socket and move this tube into that socket. Just going to leave the covers off right now. Might pick up a little bit of hum, but I'm not too terribly worried about that. Okay, powering the unit back on. Get my jumper lead reconnected over here. Audio is starting to come out of both channels, which is perfect. So we'll put that back in the volts mode. I'll turn the volume down. So we should have about 290 on this side of this resistor and this side of that one. Remember last time we had about 110 volts here. So we got 183 now, and so this one should have dropped to about 110 volts, well 116. So that tells me that this tube is weak compared to that one. You know what? I've got a tube tester somewhere. Let me go try to dig it out, and we'll test the two tubes and see if one tests stronger than the other one. Okay, so I dug out my B&K tube tester 747B. So let me go ahead and pull one of the tubes. I know this is off camera, so this is the one that is in the socket of V9 right now. And I believe this is going to be the weaker one. Look at that, it's an original Daystrom tube. ECC 83 or 12AX7. Made by Mullard. Made in Great Britain. Okay, so let's look up 12AX7. Is that the right tube to be in this thing? No, it's not. It should be a 12AT7. It's got a 12AX7. I wonder if that has a different gain or not. So let's see. Try to do it all in real time. Get up here, get the manual. We're in the 12s. Hopefully you can see some of it. So 12AX7. So 1289 socket 29, and then you have to set these switches to the FECAB and then dot then AA1. Okay, heater 12, socket 89. Oh, sensitivity 89, socket 29. Okay, it's in the socket. So FEC, I know you can't see this right now. FECAB, nothing, and then AA, and then test number 1. Okay. So you can see that the cord won't get in the way too much. Power on. Oh, sensitivity should be set at 89. Okay, there we go. On 12 volts, 89, and then FECAB, nothing, and then AA, and we use test position 1. And well, it's coming up, so test just over 20. Grid emission or shorts, no. And then there is a second test on this one. So I will power it down. We'll reset everything, and the controls need to be set to number 4 is A, and then B. Number 6 is F, and then E, and then C. And the same thing over here is AA and test number 1. Okay, here we go. This is the second half of the tube. There's actually 2 sections in this tube. So, warming up. Test number 1, it's a little bit better. It's coming up to about 32, 33. Well, that one definitely tests in the bad range. So, power off. And I'll go pull the tube out of the amplifier, or the preamp I should say. It's in position V8 right now. And it is a GE tube, and it is actually a 12 AT7. As you can tell, as Shango says, it's etched into the glass, 12 AT7. So you know that is an actual GE tube. So let's see, 12, what did I say? AT7, yes. There it is, 12 AT7. So heater 12, sensitivity 80 or 74, socket number 7, and then we do just test number 1 and number 2. Interesting. So socket number 7. Okay, it is in the socket. Power on, sensitivity still 89, heater voltage at 12. That one definitely tests good, 75. And test number 2, about the same, 72. Coming up on 80. So that one is a good tube. What is the difference? They're plugged in basically to the same socket. So can I theoretically test this one in this socket? Obviously not. Oh wait, it's coming up. We'll give it just a moment to gather itself. Yes, that one is much, much weaker as tested at a 12 AT7 level. And not the, what did this one say? Or 12 AX7. So that one does test much, much weaker. So I'm just wondering, should we replace this with the 12 AT7? I'm not sure. But definitely that one is much weaker than that one is. My bad. I had the sensitivity set up to 89, and for this tube it should be set to 74. And so let's retest it. That one's really bad and really bad. And then we'll test the one that is an actual 12 AT7. Socket is, it's been replaced, but it's really getting worn out. This tube tester was actually in service when I started repairing TVs. I've probably tested 1,000 tubes in this thing over its lifetime, but it's still good. So we're back on 74, 12 volt heater, test 1. Doesn't test quite as good, but tests definitely better. And test 2, still in the marginally bad range, would probably work fine for an amplifier. Obviously this one is working fine for this preamp. This one is definitely much, much more gain as a 12AX7, or AT7, I'm sorry, instead of a 12AX7, which is what that one is right there. Okay, going to contact the customer, see what he wants to do, maybe get a couple of matched pairs of these 12AX7s to put in there, or maybe just get another replacement 12AT7 that seems to work just fine. All right, let's go ahead and test all of these tubes. I'm just going to cut and edit this video together. So this is V1, test number 1, about 32. Test number 2, about the same, about 32. So I'm going to go ahead and label this one V1 32 32 right on the Sharpie right there. Okay, this is V2. We'll start with test number 2, and we're at about 35, 32 maybe. This is test number 1, and we're at about 35. Okay, this is V3, so about 35, 36 in test position number 1, and about 32 in test position number 2. All right, this is V4, so about 32 on test position B, and about, we'll call it 30 on test position A. Okay, this is V5, test position A, about 90, best one yet. And test B, about 90. Wow, it's a good tube. Okay, this is V6, test number 1, just a little bit under 20, maybe right at 20. I may have incorrectly said that last test was test number 1. It was actually test number 2. This is test number 1, and we're at about 28 on V6. So this is V7, test number 1, about 23. All right, test number 2, about 20, 25. Okay, so V8 is testing as a 12AT7, even though it's the wrong tube, a 12AX7. So test 1, maybe 6 or 7, maybe 5, not sure. Test 2, about the same, 5. Okay, V9, test 1, it's about 35, 36. V9 test 2, about 32. Okay, and last but not least, well, maybe least but not last, I'm not sure. 15, maybe 13. That's on test position number 2. We'll call it 15. And in test number 1, we got about 15. So that's all the tubes. I think I'm going to recommend the customer replace all the tubes in this unit, especially the one mismatched tube. It works fine as is, but it might work a little bit finer with all the tubes replaced. Everyone, thanks for watching part 2 of this video on the Heathkit AA-11. Everyone have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. So I think I'm going to recommend to the customer complete tube replacement on this unit. Every tube is testing very, very weak, but it still does function pretty well, even though one of the tubes is the wrong tube. So we have a 12AT7 here, which can be tested in this socket. The other ones are 12AX7, which need to be tested in this socket and programmed via these switches. So I'm going to recommend tube replacement, complete tube replacement. So what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 12AX7s and 2 12AT7 tubes is what I'm going to recommend to the customer. Other than that, this thing is working perfectly. Everyone, thanks for watching part 2. I really, really appreciate it. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Okay, here is V8 that should be a 12AT7, but it's actually a 12AX7. But we'll test it in the 12AT7 position. So my sensitivity should be set at 74. There it is, 12 volt heater. So these are pre-programmed sockets basically. These sockets down here depend on where you set the switches as to what pin does what. So test 1, really weak. Test 2, really weak. Maybe 5 and 5. Let's test the other one. All right, and this is V8. So about 21 on test position number 2, and about 18 on test position number 1. Okay, so this is V9. This is the wrong tube. I should be testing it in this socket, but I'm going to do the same test because the amplifier was designed for this tube in this socket. So this is test number 1. As you can see, it's well over 100. And test number 2 is about 88. Anyhow, that's it. Everyone, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Bye-bye.